All right, welcome to the Save for Our Golf podcast. Again, Eric's not here, but again, we're still sponsored by Swanee, so use that discount code SAVEFOR25. But I do have a special co-host, even though Derek's always kind of been the co-host to people in the group chat. We have Brian from the Duffin Up Pod. We've known Brian for a little bit. Brian and I are the dynamic duo. For Kat, who doesn't know, but Kat is also here from Golfing Buddy. Brian and I are the dynamic duo. We had a hell of a time in downtown San Jose, back for the shindig, which is the very pretty flag in the corner.
Pretty
Um,
flag at my crew neck that only I purchased.
so he goes, "Hey, there's no crew necks available." And Jordan from Owen's like, "Oh, watch this." Made these crew necks. Brian's the only one who bought a crew neck. So shout out Brian who bought the crew neck. But we have Kat with Golfing Buddy here. Excited to learn about what Golfing Buddy is because in my mind it's like Tinder for golfers, but I'm willing to bet it's not at all like that. So, but welcome, Kat. Welcome, Brian. Uh,
Thank
Kat, you
you.
have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here on your show. Yeah, so what do you want me to start? You want me to start on how Golfing Buddy got started or?
We could do a little bit about you. We're obviously
Okay.
going to talk about Golfing Buddy, stuff like that.
Yep. So a little bit about me and my background is I was in corporate America for 27 years, and then I became an entrepreneur in 2014. And that was my first business, and it was marketing, and I loved it. It was great. But then in here toward the end in COVID, I started my second business, which is a business broker. So I kind of have like this entrepreneur kind of bug in me. And I don't know if I'm a glutton for punishment because it isn't easy to start a business. It's actually really, really hard. But I think I feel like when I was successful with the first one, I thought, okay, I got this. I can do it again. And that's how I started my second business as a business broker, helping people sell their business. So, I understand tenacity, hard work, and being, persistent and having thick skin. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, what kind of business you have. I don't care if it's a flower shop or, a side hustle, whatever. You really have to have some thick skin to persevere and get it going, you know. So I love relating to business owners, and a little bit about how I got into golf was because of when I was in major media. So I sold TV advertising in 5 different markets for like ABC, NBC, CBS, and golfing was part of that, a lot of that, because you go on these golf tournaments and you go on these foursomes and all these charity events, and you're there with your clients. So I fell in love with golf later in life when I was 30, and really love it. But I feel like I'm no different than a lot of people who typically get into golf, because there are so many people that find it through like Top Golf, or when they go and do putt putt, or the driving range and things like that. So I love that, when people are exposed to golf, that they fall in love with it, and then they want to take it a step further.
I feel a little sad that you said you found it later on in life and then you said 30.
Yeah.
Um, because like my staff, I so basically my background is I'm an area manager. I work in the running industry. That's about
Okay.
all I say, just because if they listen, I don't know how okay it is when they just start dropping names. But my staff call me old. I'm 26. And like I'll have like music on during the day, and it's always Aaliyah. I love Aaliyah. And they're like, Dom, who is this? I'm like, this is Aaliyah. This is Baby Girl. This is like that's all you need to know. They go, who's Aaliyah? So the fact that you find it, I don't know, makes me feel a little old. Um, but yeah, I mean you hit the nail on the head. Everybody's introduced to golf a different way.
Yep.
Um, Derek will take his clients to lunch, and I say lunch loosely because it's his excuse to golf during the workday and then be able to write it off. So I'm
Yep.
incredibly jealous, but I mean
Yeah.
it's a hell of a way to be introduced to the game.
Oh, no, absolutely. I agree. And I would concur with Derek because I used to get jealous before I learned to play golf that all my sales managers and other reps were playing golf and they were allowed to go and take the day off and do that. So the moment that I, just piped up and said, "Hey, I'm going to take some lessons and buy some clubs," then I empowered myself, right? I basically empowered myself. That's all I did.
I was
That's
going to ask that
fantastic.
too. I mean, if that's the best motive there is. I mean, if especially for business needs, but once you kind of it overlaps with your professional life too,
Yep.
in a sense, you don't want to go out there and embarrass yourself too. So you're like, all right, I need to really at least hold my own out there, or you'll never make any sales. Or I mean, not that like it's totally driven in that sense, but you just want to get invited back out there. You don't
Oh,
want to.
no, absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree. And I'm so glad that you mentioned about like, you don't want to embarrass yourself, because that's probably a stigma a lot of people feel when they learn to play golf and they're not sure of themselves. And, golf is a number sport because we take score. And that means that there's a little competitiveness. So even if you don't take score, you mentally kind of do, because you're like, okay,
I
that's my eighth hit. I'm not taking score anymore.
I never understood those people that say I go out there, I never keep score. I'm like, I could never physically do that because obviously you know where you're at, what shot you're hitting. Like even if you're not writing it down, like
Oh, yeah.
it's possible. I envy the people that are able to detach themselves mentally from counting how many.
I'm that person.
How teach us your ways, Dom? What?
It depends. We were sent bags from a newer company, actually from Japan, and they told us, "Hey, just take pictures of just go play golf." I was like, done. So now I've got this beautiful pink bag. Um, and the way I did it was I went out, played my local 9-hole course. I'm like, I don't care what I shoot. So I didn't even take a scorecard. I wasn't keeping notes on my phone. I wasn't doing anything. I was just out there hitting balls, had my camera, had a green tea from Costco, and I just walked around all day. Like to me, I mean, that like made my week.
That's
Just being
awesome.
able to go out there. Like I don't know what I shot. The issue is I didn't lose a single golf ball, so I knew I was doing pretty good. So I wish I had that score.
Mhm.
The other issue I had was it was with a Duffin Up golf ball. Um, Funny enough,
What the heck?
I know,
That's it's magic. That's there we go. A
I
nice
know,
open Duffin Out golf ball.
I was pissed. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I went out there, I played, I had fun, I took pictures, and then I just drove home. I don't know. That
Um,
being said, like if Derek and I are playing 18, then yeah, I'm keeping score because sometimes I like blow everybody away and shoot like a pretty decent score.
Nice. That's
it,
awesome.
it totally
Not
is. I
super
mean,
often.
it's said over and over. It's just a glorious walk, ruined for the most part. I mean, it's just especially if you're just starting out. I mean, just being out. I mean, golf courses are some of the most beautiful places on earth, and especially if you live in a city where green space is not necessarily at your availability in that sense, but just going out there and being with friends and mixing in a drink or two if that's what you please, and going out there. And I think that the issue with me is that's the only time you'll see me for the most part lose my temper or angry or swearing like a sailor is out in the golf course because I take myself too seriously for the most part. But I think that's like when you get to a certain skill level or you're shooting decent scores, now you're just expecting that every time, and that's when the worst is brought out of you. Um, but in that sense, I mean, Kat, when you're out with business clients and such, what's your secret to keeping your composure
So,
aside?
yeah. So I'm a big fan of scrambles, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
in the beginning, I did a lot of scrambles because it's best ball, right? Best ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the best way to hold your own, right? And feel confident, because if your ball is picked, how exciting is that? I
mhm,
don't care if it was the putt in. You know what I mean? Like
You
who
contributed.
cares where it was? But if yours is selected, to me, that is like the biggest compliment you could have. And I think for a beginner or someone who is not confident, that is the best way to go for a while. You know what I mean? Especially publicly, pay the extra money to have some fun, meet some people. Because that's the other thing. Scrambles are always fun, and you get to meet a lot of various people and have some fun out there. And especially if you're signing up solo and you get paired with some people, that always makes it exciting to me, because again, it's not a serious thing. The serious thing is usually when you're all taking score yourself, right? And then it's the best score. And then people are just like kind of, grumbling and like, oh, damn it. Why can't you hold your weight, cat?
I mean, pace of play, that I feel like that's the most like stressful part of it all. Like that's the only part where it's like this is when people take it too seriously. When you look back and there's a guy with his hands on his hips waiting for you to hit or whatever, and that's when my anxiety kicks in. I mean, my girlfriend, she just started out golfing with the pandemic, and that's always like just the pace of play. I mean, she's picked it up quicker than I've seen anyone pick it up, which is awesome. And it's just awesome in general, the growth in female golfers and the golf game and in the world of women, and in that sense, which is so fantastic. I mean, we have, and I'm not sure if it's I mean, I'm sure you have something similar in the Milwaukee area, but there's a local women's group. It's called Girls Gone Clubbing here, which is
nice.
totally cool. It's taken the city by storm. I mean, it's a social networking event, actual real networking event where they hold clinics. They call what they call sip and swings, and they go to a local driving range and they just drink, and it's all skill levels, just getting women into the game of golf and having a good time. I mean, it's obviously stereotype, or it can be intimidating that it's like an old white man's snobby sport, and it's definitely, I mean, for the most part, like women weren't playing golf at all, or even in some places allowed to go to the country clubs and such, and the big shift now is fantastic for female golfers everywhere, and I think that's huge, and I kind of want to hear your side on it and your experience at getting into golf as a woman, and where it started when you started out and what it looks like today. Just kind of your thoughts on all that.
So before we touch on that,
Yep,
I want to join the sip and swing because that sounds like a blast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you sip some wine, you hit some balls, like that sounds like phenomenal.
Dom, it would be right up your alley. I think you sitting out there with some high noons,
Don't get me started.
spilling all the tea with the ladies out there, and I think Dom, you would fit perfectly in. You might be able to be an honorary member.
That sounds like a blast. Like yeah, no, that sounds super cool. I wish we had that for guys, but then like when you were talking about it, I was like, yeah, it probably won't be as good for guys considering golf is generally the man sport. Yeah, I want to join the sip and swing. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they do it right. I mean, I think guys would take it too seriously and it become too competitive, and
They'd fight.
it would be it would be a brawl and swing, sip and brawl kind of thing.
Sip and brawl. Oh,
nice. That sounds fun. I love that, the sip and swing. I think that's a great idea. In fact, when I first got started in golf, I joined it was the EWGA at the time, Executive Women's Golf Association. So they had chapters everywhere. It's now the LPGA Amateur. That's what it's called now. So it's a little intimidating, the name now, because as a beginner or, an intro golfer, and you say, I'm joining the LPGA, but it's not like you're going to be a
right. Like, you're getting your tour card and you're
right. No, it's not like that. You're just part of the association, which is really confusing and it's really strange. So when they did that, they did lose a lot of members because I think the members mentally thought, well, I don't want to be part of the LPGA. That's too official. You know what I mean? And so that's why I said I love the name, the girls, what was it again?
Girls Gone Clubbing.
Clubbing.
Yeah, I love that. And that other thing I want to mention about that, I think women that golf and start associations and groups and clubs, we have fun names, whereas guys just have the golfing name. You know what I mean? Like, I know another lady who was in Florida. Now she moved to Utah and she started Legs Golf. It's like, and legs, LEGS, stand for Ladies Executive Golf something. I can't remember what the
Oh.
S. Yeah. So isn't that cool? Isn't that cute?
Mhm.
That's clever. I never. Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. Being a guy, never would have
Yeah.
thought of that.
Yeah. And then because we're women, we can come up with these cutesy stuff, right? Because, yeah, legs, so that is cute. And, the Girls Gone Clubbing, that's another one. So there's a lot of those association and kind of groups and clubs popping up all over the place, which I love. And I totally embrace that. And I'm hoping that I can do something similar like that with Golfing Buddy, although that sounds kind of generic because I like the legs and Girls Gone Clubbing.
You know,
You know
it
what I mean?
starts somewhere though, right? Like
Yeah.
getting your foot in the door saying, "Hey, I have this platform." You can always change the name.
I was
I
gonna
don't think
say
Derek would let me change the name of this,
it.
but like, you can always change the name down the road.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to I'll put you into contact with Sarah.
Yes, please.
It was totally she like we became acquaintances, and we were actually just, my girlfriend and I were at the driving range just hitting a bucket of balls, and she came over to my girlfriend. I was like, hey, like, do you golf? Do you golf regularly? And I'm starting this women's group, like networking group called Girls Gone Clubbing, and we hold scramble tournaments, we do sip and swings and all that, and like has a really good social, like, following, in the
Yep.
sense, I mean, like, featured in the Massachusetts golf like USGA
Nice.
magazine and all that, especially when the US Open came around here last 2 years ago or last year. And like it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's definitely taken a huge following, and especially in this local area. So I'll definitely have to put you in contact. I mean, that's a collab that was meant to be in that sense. I mean, maybe you
Yeah.
could start up your own chapter.
Oh
Girls
yeah.
Gone Clubbing.
No, I think that would be fantastic because again, like with women and golfing, there's a huge intimidation factor, golfing with men. I think this was in the trades here locally where the female was trying to play a golfing tournament that was all men. You guys aware of that, or do you remember, or did you hear it? It was here recently in the trades, and I can't remember who the female golfer was, but it started some controversy because I don't know. To me, who cares, right? If she can hold her weight.
Is that the Lexi Thompson
I think
thing?
so. Thank you.
She's a
Yes.
badass. She can,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, she beat some pretty big names as well, if I remember right. But yeah, she's a badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she missed the cut by like a stroke or two, like
And
insane.
she's
Like,
been pro since she's like 12 or something. Like
Right.
she's nuts.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, it's the whole thing that, if you can hold your own, and it's the same thing in tennis and golf and anywhere else, it's just a competition of the game, not of the sexes,
100%. And you're all out there for one reason, is getting that white ball into the hole and having fun along the way. But I definitely agree. Women have so much more fun out there. I'm so jealous every time we have at the local course that I go to. They have on Thursday mornings, they have a women's league that
Okay.
it's like, so I'm like, I go up before work, and they're usually all the groups behind me, and I'm just like on the outside looking in, being like, hey, like, can I play? Like, if they're just having so much more fun, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're laughing, they're doing all that. It's they're not there to. I mean, some of them are there to keep score, but
Yep.
they're also having fun. Like, you wouldn't know who's the best versus who's the worst, because they're all just living it up.
Right. 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 And they're just there to support each other. And, make sure that everybody feels comfortable and they're having a good time. Same thing.
We had Gigi Stoll on the pod. Probably it was earlier this year, and she's on the Epson tour, so it's like the tour right below the LPGA.
Wow.
Um, following her, seeing her videos on Instagram and everything, she probably has the most fun I've ever seen anybody have on a golf course. But then I also know that she would smoke every single guy I know like that. Like the amount of talent that she has is unreal, and the fact that guys are like, "Oh, she can't compete." She'd smoke everybody I know
Right.
by far. And the funny part is after she was on, that same week she ended up winning her tournament
Oh,
on the
nice.
tour, which was super cool. So now every time she's like talked about, I'm like, we know her and everything, so it's super cool. But yeah, I mean, she'd smoke me. She'd smoke everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a badass. Lexi
Yeah.
Thompson's super cool. I mean, even Michelle Wie for going way back. I mean, she's been like the pillar of women's golf for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think the cool thing, like you guys said, it mentioned COVID brought out golf more candidly for people, the love for golf or even just to try it. And during COVID it was a safe space because you weren't paired, right? You had to golf with who you came with, and you couldn't be paired. So it was for a temporary time, it was a safe space because, I mean, we went out probably the most during COVID because it was the only thing you could do, right? And you could be outside and have fun and still do something, you know. So that
Unless
was
you're
nice.
in, yeah, unless you're in Minnesota and Wisconsin, because then we weren't able to do anything until like April or May.
I was about to say 6 months. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking back, especially in the COVID times, just funny the things that you would see on a golf course, like the pool noodles in the cup, like keeping people, or
Yes.
even the golf carts with the like saran wrap in between the two golfers, or you had to be from the same household. I mean, it was just comical to look back. There's going to be plenty of parodies and SNL skits down the road, just making
Oh,
fun
forever.
of how it was
Yeah.
handled. Um, but yeah, I mean, just kind of going off of uh, kind of bringing it back to you is for especially for females that are thinking about golf or want to get into golf, but just don't know how to go about it. What would you say is your best is the best advice that you getting into golf or how to go about and get over that I guess that fear
Initial
or
fear.
Yeah,
yeah.
that stigma. I think the first and foremost is if you can find an association, especially a female friendly one, like the Girls Gone Clubbing or Legs or LPGA Amateur or EWJ, whatever you find. If you can find something like that in your community, first and foremost, that helps because you're among other people that want to play golf and that are going to be gracious, right? Gracious and accepting. And most of those organizations want beginners. They're trying to get more people into the golf game. And that's the whole purpose of it, right? But the other cool thing about golf is for anybody, female, male, but and especially females, is this is a time to socialize. Women love to socialize, it's a social thing. Golf is a social thing. I had a conversation with somebody one time, and I'm not a solo golfer. I'm not going to go and golf by myself. I'm not interested in that. If I was probably a pro golfer and wanted to up my game, I'm sure I'd probably be out there at 6, 7 in the morning, whatever time they go. Okay, 5 in the morning. Is that what you're telling me?
No,
4 in the
no,
morning.
I'm not a morning person.
No,
Um, but
Dom is what time do you normally become normal, Dom? He's a monster in the morning.
Like 9
okay, okay,
and
so
9 a.m. Like
okay.
don't
So if you see him out, especially on a golf course before 9 a.m., he's having some kind of episode.
Yeah, I will never
basically,
be
yeah.
there before 9 a.m. Yes.
No.
No, 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 no.
I mean,
I'm
even when we had to get there early because we do a tournament in California. So we had to get there before everybody in the house even woke up. And as soon as somebody offered me shots, I was doing shots.
One way to get over the hump.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like 9 a.m. and they're like, tequila shot. I'm like, I'm down. Like, let's knock it out.
That's
Uh,
funny.
but those associations do help, people, beginners, women. Um, so especially like I said, if it is a group specific for beginners or specific for women, whatever the case may be, it's a time to come together with other like-minded people just like you, right? And that helps. It helps to be associated to people like you. But I'm not against playing with people better than me. I got to a point, in fact, when I started playing golf, that I only played with people better than me because I wanted to be better, you know? And I think people get into their, phases where, you might do that because it's only going to improve your game. It's not going to make your game worse, but you have to be confident and tough enough to do it because it's pushing you.
This is where I wish Derek was here because Derek would chime in and be like, well, I'm gonna say Derek is better than me. He's not gonna ever admit it. Derek is better than me. Derek has also said I'm one of the most coachable people he's ever met. He'll tell me to go do something and I will execute it and do it. And that
Mhm.
is something that only happens when you're playing with somebody better than
Better than
yourself,
you.
right? There are things that I do better than Derek, and then there are things that he does better than me. My short game and putting beats him every time. We always say we'd be the best scramble duo because he could
Yep.
tee off back, do everything else in between, and we'd be solid. Um, but that's absolutely a testament to playing with people that are better than you. I've played with Beard from Sucker Pin Society. Brian knows Brendan. I played with Brendan. The four of us played a beautiful morning round, and I was very pissed off at Half Moon Bay. And Beard's like, hey, why don't you try doing that or that? And then I would just do it. And it's just like those little things that kind of make you look at it a little bit differently, kind of opens up your perception to this game and just kind of, you pick up on little tips and tricks, right? So the one thing that comes to mind when I was talking about all that, Derek and I were playing like a local course here, and I think it's like right in between Minneapolis and St. Paul. Um, and it's like one of the last ones is like, hey, you've been struggling to hit this, hit that. And I was like, thanks for reminding me. He said, go up there, hit your 5 wood, aim right there, and just swing. And I said, but he's like, don't just swing. I striped that 5 wood over the green. He's like, that is the best shot you've hit all day. And I was like, you should just like be in my ear at all times.
Right. I mean, it helps. And, it really does help. And I think it helps you have the confidence, but there's a lot of respect there because obviously you respect him.
I do, yes. Sometimes, most of the time.
I mean, I find it funny, like when friends that I know, who haven't even really dabbled with golf at all, but they find out that I've been golfing for quite some time now. They're always like, Brian, you gotta teach me golf. You gotta bring me out there and teach me. And I'm always like, I'm very bad at coaching in general, but in regards to golf, I'm like, you don't want to do what I do. Like I'm not exactly the fundamental wizard. Like my swing is homemade. I like it. What it works for me just because of repetition. But like, don't do what I do. I'm like, if you really want to actually learn golf, you should probably go see a professional or just someone else who's better at conveying how they operate out there. But it's always funny. I think that's a big piece, and I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole of just the cost of golf and getting into golf and how expensive it can be, and that's a huge hurdle, especially for someone starting out.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Don't have any, or you got to purchase lessons from a good instructor that's not me, your friend, who doesn't know how to tell you what to do.
Mhm.
But I do say, like, I mean, between Derek and Beard, it's they're a gift from heaven if they're able to offer advice that works and teach you and be patient, because that's a huge thing, because it's not easy. It's a grind out there.
Yeah, I took one of my buddies out. He's like, "Yeah, I've never played golf before." I'm like, "Dude, I have like 4 sets of clubs. Like, let's go." We went, played a 9-hole course. He's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "You stand here, you see that ball, you smack it." He goes, "Deal." And I've never seen somebody who's never touched a golf club hit the ball so damn good. There's one where he swung and I was like, "That's gonna go in." Like, that's like he was gonna get a hole in one. His first ever like 3 holes of golf. Thankfully it missed, so I don't have to like relive it every day of my life. And then there's one where he almost drove the green on like a par four. I was like,
Wow.
"What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "You should just like," it's like the Happy Gilmore thing, right? It's like you should quit hockey and just pick up golf. I was like, "Whatever you're doing, stop, pick up the golf clubs." And he's never played since. But
Oh,
getting well busy,
oh,
life happens. He's gotten married since then and everything. He had the hottest wedding I've ever been to. It was terrible. And it was outside with no air conditioning in the venue. It was August in the Midwest. Not a good idea. Um, yeah, half of it is just getting out there, putting away expectations,
yeah,
and just kind of, repping a few balls around. Um, I do want to get into Golf Buddy though, because I feel like we've talked about everything but Golf Buddy. Um, where did that start? Where did the idea come from? I will say I like that you have, because I did sign up. You can do looking for, and then you can do men, women, or both.
yeah,
So I think when we were talking about the women's side, I like how it could be, oh, I'm a woman looking to play golf with another woman. It definitely, I think that would cut the intimidation factor down, like you were saying.
yeah.
Um, but I liked that little aspect of it. But I'd like to learn more about Golfing Buddy, how it works, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it started, and this is my third business now, remember. It
Mm-hmm.
started as a passion. It started because, we are in the Midwest, so we're in Wisconsin. And one year, there was a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and it was amazing. So Jeff, my partner, was like, "All right, let's play golf. Let's play golf. We should play golf all weekend." And I couldn't get out because, again, I'm an entrepreneur. I had deadlines and I had to get it done. So I was like, "Hey, just go find a buddy. I'm sure you can find a buddy. Go find a buddy and go play golf so that you can get it out of your system." Well, he couldn't find anyone. So the whole weekend, it was done over, and he was kind of upset because he didn't get to get out. And he also is not I'm going to go play by myself kind of guy. He won't do it, at all. And so at the end of that weekend, I was like, "You know what? This is really a business opportunity." I go, "Think of all the other people that are out there that was thinking just like you, like this is an amazing weekend and we should get out." And they probably don't want to get out on their own either. And so thus was the ting, 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 you know, we should put together a platform or an app or something so that we unite people who want to play golf together, and that's how it started. That's how it evolved. I parlayed more into it to take action because of my own personal experiences, having the intimidation factor, having to be paired with people and having that frightening feeling, anxiety, when you go to the golf course and they pair you and you're just waiting and looking and saying, "Oh, is it them? Is it them? I wonder if it's them. I wonder if it's that who's going to be paired with us." And then you're like kind of checking them out, like, are they going to be an asshole or are they going to be fun? And so there's a lot of that when you are playing golf and you're a mixed couple or you're just a female with another female. There's a lot of that and a lot of anxiety. So pairing that with, Jeff, my partner's experience, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. We should have something that brings people together so that they can find other people just like them. Like if they're a beginner, they can find other beginners. If they are a parent with a junior, because we have a junior golfer too. If they're a parent with a junior golfer and they want to be paired with another parent with a junior golfer, or if they're an adaptive golfer, maybe they want to play other adaptive golfers because, being an adaptive golfer means that you have limitations. So you're obviously feel like you're going to slow people down and, all of these other things. So there's so many layers of emotion in golf that people don't understand until you take up the game, and then you're out on the golf course and you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize they're going to pair me. I thought I could walk on and I could just play by myself. Well, sure, if you pay for the other 3 spots,
I've
right?
never heard the term adaptive golfer, and I
Yeah.
love it. I
Oh,
love that so much. Um, Also, I'll go out and play alone. I won't go do 18 alone, but I'm like, yeah, I'll go play 9 alone because then it's like I don't have to buy 3 other spots. It's just me, a little push cart, and then whatever I bring with me, you know? So
uh-huh.
that's the beauty of that. But like, I guess shout out to Jeff for coming up with this idea inadvertently. I hope he's getting some kind of residual pay. Um,
Huh.
how does it, so that's the background of it.
Yeah.
How does it work? So I want to go play 18 at this course. Do I put it in, or does it just
Yep.
like generate it, or
Yep, yep. So when people sign up, they're taken through a questionnaire. It's a simple questionnaire at first. If they go back and log in, it'll take them through more questions to help the filtering. Okay. And essentially, what it does is it geofence people near you. So it will pull from, neighboring areas. Now, if there's not enough people, it's going to geofence people further out, right? And that's just the dynamics of it. So once people sign up and they identify, I'm a female, I want to golf with other females, or I don't care, I want to golf with male and female. And then I also am a beginner. They can identify as beginner, intermediate, or more advanced. They can self-identify as, hey, I like to do 18 holes, or I like to do 9. I like to walk. I like to take a cart, or I'm a 9th hole kind of person. When I come around that 9th hole, I'm going to have a drink. So all these variables have a play in it because there are all types of golfers. I have played with many different types of golfers, people who like to wage, right? Not everybody likes to wage, and there are people that do like to stay afterwards and have a drink and socialize. There, not everybody wants to do that. So there's so many variables as who is the golfer and what type are you, that you can find people who self-identify, and now you can find, maybe that ultimate golfing buddy that you're looking for, right? And the feedback I get back from the people that utilize the golfing buddy app is that if they travel, they're using it and now they're doing shout outs and saying, hey, I'm going to, let's say, Michigan, and are there golf courses there that I can go to, or anybody want to play? So they can say that in their feed, so they can just do it as a shout out. They can privately message people and ask them, hey, I'm a beginner golfer too. Would you like to go golfing? Is there a place that you normally go? You know, and then I also open it up to like golf courses and instructors so that they can put in, anything in there that say, we welcome beginners, or we have this special for, you get lessons and you get to play every week, and, blah, blah, blah. So it really is an open environment, but it's strictly golf. It's not, golf and tennis. It's not golf and paddleball. It's golf. It's just golf. So we list golfing events on there. We highlight on our social media new golf members. We highlight new golf partners. So it really is anything and all things golf. And really, again, trying to get that golfer who is more of a community golfer. And when I say that, I mean more of that public golf course golfer, not the private club golfer. Although we do have people that are a part of a private club and they'll say it, and they'll say, hey, I'm part of this private club. Anybody want to check it out? It's on me. I have a membership there, blah, 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 you know. So it really is just a golfing community network. That's all it is, if I had to like summarize it.
I can't wait. Because I'm sure down the road it'll happen. Someone's gonna be like, "Hey, I met my wife on Golfing Buddy."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be fun down the road. Um,
Yeah.
it's I've been saying this a lot with a lot of the people we've had on lately. It's so dumb, but it's so genius. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like, this is something that's like, wow, why didn't I think of that?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think some of the best ideas and inventions and creations are self motivated, in the sense where it's like you and your partner were like, why does this exist? Well,
Right.
let's make it exist. Let's make it a thing. I mean, there's and you're not alone. I mean, it's such a gap in the community that like is absolutely, especially if you're, yeah, like you said, if you're traveling to a foreign city and you
Yep.
want to get out and play golf, and you see that there's an established like golfing buddy community there. You know what you're signing up for. Like, it's, I mean, like, when you're going to a foreign place, it's like you don't know what the people are going to be like, what the golf culture, what the vibe is.
No.
In country club by country club or golf course by golf course is different. And I mean, I personally, I think a huge demand too. I mean, I have a lot of golfing like friends that golf. But if I
Golfing
book a
buddies.
foursome and people aren't available on a Saturday, I have two spots that I need to fill, and I'm gonna honestly cancel those two spots at the very last minute,
Right.
so that potentially those spots don't get filled by random people, because it's always a crapshoot. It's always like, I'm gonna get paired. I could get paired with the worst people in the worst, like, two people in the world, or like the most just obnoxious. But I love the fact, I mean, if you're a part of the golfing buddy community, um, one you could get a feel and do your research on that person ahead of time, but also like it's a certain person to be a part of that community. It's you're all there for the same reason,
Right.
is getting a buddy. I mean, in the sense, and I love that.
Absolutely. And then Dom, to kind of parlay into you saying that you like, adaptive golfers. The another purpose of this, especially for golf courses, is to add more diversity, right? Add more diversity to golf courses. What a cool way to get more diverse people, and have this as a tool to say, hey, we welcome beginners. Hey, we welcome women. Hey, we welcome adaptive golfers. And if you're going to have a hard time finding someone, you should use Golfing Buddy to, kind of pair yourself up. Whereas if those people came on their own to those courses, it's just like you said, it's a crapshoot. You don't know if they're going to be nice, and you don't know if they're going to be mean. You don't. Because adult human beings are mean. They are. I can tell you stories about how we got paired, and oh my God, like some of the situations is just mind blowing,
And that's kind of my issue with golf courses, where I don't feel like they really take all that into consideration. It's not their job. They're not
Nope.
supposed to. I get that part of it, but if you're wanting to attract people, attract customers essentially, why wouldn't you make it more open and more available and a little easier to get into for a lot of people? I'm not saying you have to like make it cheap or, super
Yep.
duper affordable, but maybe like, hey, every Tuesday evening, there's no league or whatever. Why don't you make it a little bit more affordable for the beginner golfers or stuff like that? Um, that'd be cool. I don't know where I'm going with this, but um, the
What?
concept golfing buddy is super. I mean, again, it's so dumb, it's smart, but you're like, yeah, Brian's point, you have two open spots, boom, you could fill them. I never even thought of the travel aspect of it. We're supposed to be going to Scottsdale in like January.
Mhm.
Um, that would have been like genius to try to find like a course or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too, to kind of layer that in regards to, with the diversity, also the inclusiveness, right? Because again, everybody wants to feel a little included. They want to feel like they're welcome, to that golf course or that whatever, golf related place. Because not only do we have golf courses, we also do the simulators and
Hmm.
the leagues and things like that. So really trying to make it again inclusive and diverse, and help golfers, especially the beginners, feel like there's a place for them to kind of connect to people, right? With other people just like them, And you'll hear me say that a lot, because I always say, it was created to connect people just like you.
So on the profile, do they show like the handicaps or anything like that?
They can. There is a spot. They can if they want. It's optional. So there are some things that are like you have to fill in, and then there's some things that are very optional. And again, that because we do have people that play very well that use it, and so they probably want to tout their handicap, and that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, my thought process was, we were talking about playing with somebody better than you.
Mhm.
This would be kind of like, okay, I have a 17 handicap or whatever, which I don't next year. Um, maybe I can see, oh, Derek has like a 4. Well,
Right.
boom, that means I could kind of, maybe I'll play with Derek more. Just, better golfer, better stuff like that. That's an interesting way to look at it as well. It's almost like free lessons.
Oh no, absolutely. And that's funny that you say that, because I have a girlfriend and she dates and I don't it's a senior, he's an ex-senior PGA pro, like he's older, and when
So he's
she told
good.
me that, yes. So he's
Probably the best
senior
short game around.
senior amateur, I think, pro, but he, does the circuit. That's all he does is play golf. That's every day he plays golf. So of course he's good. But when she told us this, and Jeff and I were like, we want to play with him. When can you guys play?
Mhm.
Well, it's never happened yet.
He's dodging you. It sounds like he's dodging you. But I mean, I think that functionality is key. I mean, there's people that are 4 handicaps that are really good, and they don't mind, and they encourage, and they don't mind playing with people that are less. But I'm sure there's the functionality to filter out, be like, oh, I don't want to play with
Yep.
someone like who's less than this handicap or something along those lines. Like, it's all obviously all preference, and it's to each your own kind of thing. I'm just happy to get out there and play with anybody, whoever wants to play with me, whether you're great or you're terrible. But
I'm just
but
happy to hit the ball and not miss.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That should be one of your exact filters is how many times do you swing and miss, kind of thing, and get that count going. But no,
Still too many.
too many to count. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't count to keep your score. You count to keep how many swing and misses there are. But Dom, I want to golf with you. I mean, we obviously went on a whole golf trip. I mean, more for the tournament, but you were snapping photos, taking shots, and doing that, and I didn't get to play with you. So let's do
Brian
it.
got in the local newspaper.
I
Oh,
did.
nice.
Yeah, Don snapped a real cool picture of me swinging. The
Swinging.
ball still captured in the photo. You can see it. I remember that shot like it was yesterday. Missed right of the green, probably because it's in a picture, and you can't see the end result. So that's my little secret. From that picture, it looks like it's going real close, but yeah, no, I think that's cool. And Kat, and same, if you're ever in the Boston area, or if I'm
Yeah.
ever over in Milwaukee, going to get a Solomons burger and a nice Schlitz or some kind of beer. I guess Miller works. We'll go with
Got
that. Definitely love to play. That seems too. So what in counting, how many people like subscribe do you have currently?
Yeah. So remember, we're startup. So we started in COVID. So during COVID, that's when the app, we have a web app, and then we have an actual Android download app. It's not on the iPhone yet. That's a
It's an
little
app
bit of,
I can actually download.
yes, on Android.
Shut up.
Yes. Yes. And so because it was launched during COVID, we weren't able to solicit it because nobody could pair up, right?
Mm.
So we really took off with it in 2022. So when COVID like officially like let go, you know, in the beginning, or I think it was toward the end of 2021, around that. So now we have, I think it's just under 2,000 on the app. And then our Facebook group has just under 5,000, or sorry, 6,000. So we feed from the Facebook group and we transfer them to our web app. So that's how we're growing the business per se.
That's fantastic, and I mean, I look forward to seeing you grow right before our eyes. I mean, like something like that, I guess you don't necessarily think of unless you're experiencing it firsthand.
Right.
Is like these hurdles or these hardships based off of COVID, like if there's a pandemic, why that affects what you're trying to do. Have you what kind of buy-in or how has it been received when talking to, I guess, different
Yep.
like golf courses and
Yeah.
different platforms?
Yeah.
What's that like?
So when I talk to golf courses, like, and that's the thing I'm working on now this year as I go into 2024 is I have created a rev share opportunity now. So I need to have skin in the game for them to utilize it in order for them to help promote it. So now I've created where it's a rev share. So if the golf course participates and they solicit it, and we'll put in one of the drop downs, you know, how did you hear about us? And they can enter that golf course, right? So that they get rev share. So right now, like I said, we have probably, I want to say 3,000 golf courses in our partner site.
Awesome.
Yep. But again, we have to be calling them constantly and talking to them and reminding them, hey, you know, you're getting golf anybody out there, you know, what's going on, you know, what do you need help with? So it's still in the infancy. The cool thing though is that we pitched it. So when we launched, the first thing we thought about was, you know, investors and how do we get this out there so that we get more money to promote this? Because we're bootstrapping it. It's out of my money. It's out of my pocket, you know? And so we did pitch it to Shark Tank. So the first year, and yep. And so we did get selected to pitch. And then that's when COVID hit and they said, well, we're not doing production. So you guys just hold off. And then so it came back on. Shark Tank came. So they send us an email saying, hey, we're back on. So we got to pitch it again. And then the second time we got to the third phase. The third phase is you've already been interviewed. Now you filled out all these docs and now you have to send in your video. Okay. And then you would get picked from your video and we didn't get picked. So that.
Keep trying.
Right. I mean, we will. I mean, it's persistence, right? Persistence is what's going to make anybody successful.
I'm gonna say, and I mean, I'm sure you're developing and you're either growing your network or just kind of the following, but also the website itself and an app is developing in a positive way. So I mean, you're getting stronger, and your Shark Tank pitch is probably getting stronger as well, like in that sense, and that's fantastic. I mean, like just kind of going back to like just, I'm sure it's extremely difficult working with golf courses because at the end of the day they just need to fill those spots. They don't care about who likes who. They just want those spots filled and paid. And so I think that's a fascinating and interesting like issue or hurdle that you need to kind of overcome from that standpoint is like why what do you, like what's the benefit of this of having it? Is it more work for me to do? I just need to put as in the recruiting world, just need to put asses in seats, you know, just kind of like I don't totally it's they don't need people to like each other, and I mean, I think what you're doing is creating an awesome culture shift for the better and making it more accessible of the golf world accessible or less intimidating and more inclusive. And I think that's a fantastic thing what you're doing. But I can only imagine what you're going through.
Well, and then, you know, everything is that like, it's all growing pains. It's learning as you go. Right. You know, at the end of the day, it's exactly like you said. those golf courses are there to make money. The other cool thing about Golfing Buddy and, our membership base is, again, these are beginners or people that feel intimidated. So they usually golf and the times that are the low peak times, you know what I mean? Because they're not dumb. They're not going to go first thing in the morning and like purposely want to be petrified, and purposely want to have anxiety. No, nobody does that. You know what I mean?
Right. Entirely. Yeah. I do that all on my own by myself.
Right.
Elsewhere.
Right.
Exactly. No, that's a good point, and that's
Yeah.
a cool spin on it. I mean, it's like if you're meeting them at their goal of trying to fill these spots, and it's like, this is how we can help you fill these spots, because we have the demographic and the population of the people that want to be filling these not non-high volume tea time slots in that sense.
Exactly. Yeah. And I have to be honest, Brian, I do play the diversity card for golf courses because I feel like if I can wedge my way in, they know they need more new golfers, right? And so if I can say, hey, I'm going to bring more females, minorities and adaptive golfers, why wouldn't you look at this? How could they like reject that and feel like normal or like they're a human being?
100%. And just kind of looking at your website too, looking at like the events page, you could talk a little bit about that and like what that looks like. Are these events that you're putting on as Golfing Buddy, or are you sponsoring? What's kind of the
No. So we do put them. So we scour and look for golfing events and we put them on Golfing Buddy. And we use that as a way to continue to engage people, but also it helps with our SEO, So we make sure we put these events on there. And again, they tie back to the original people. It's not like we're trying to claim they're ours. They're not ours. We're just helping promote it to our golfing community. So again, and so trying to do the blogs, the videos, and things like that to help create that awareness and keep people coming back,
putting it all in one page, which
Yeah.
is the amount of tabs I have open for trying to book a tee time, but also finding events. Every golf course has its own tab, and I think that's one of the biggest pain points. But like, I love and thank you for explaining that, because I'm new to the portal and trying to figure it out. But that's I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah. I'm always excited when someone lists their event. So
I know now I want to throw an event or hosting an event just to put it on there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we are hosting and throwing an event.
True.
Yes, but I will be putting this podcast on there too. So.
Oh, I forgot this is an event. There is an event.
That's right.
So I downloaded the app and I made a little count and everything. I wanted to point out something that I had mentioned earlier about, one day somebody's gonna get married. You can say that you're there for a soulmate. That's pretty cool.
Well, you know what? Like a lot of people do golf to find someone because they love golf so much and they want to find someone who loves golf too,
I don't think I want to do that.
You don't? Okay, so I have to tell you the story about this then. I have to tell you. So when I first wanted to get into golf, I dated this other guy. We were together for 10 years. And when we were dating, I would always say, hey, I want to go play golf with you. And he'd be like, no, that's for the boys. That's not for you. And I was so pissed because and I was so pissed because he would never bring me out. He would never be okay with it. And so the day that we broke up was the day that I bought lessons, bought my clubs, and joined the EWGA. And I was like, I'm going to join golf and I'm going to do it myself then.
Hell yeah, Kat. Hell yeah.
Well, look at you now.
That's right. I have Golfing Buddy.
Yeah, that's not my reasoning. I kind of use golf to like get away from everything stressful. So I feel like anybody else would put up with me probably has a high level of stress. So I would just kind of like to leave that at home. Thank you very much. Especially me not being a morning person.
I'm gonna share food for thought for you, okay? Because when I started dating Jeff, my partner now, okay, he never played golf. Okay. Never played golf. So he took up golf in his 40s. And he is probably like when he saw me going to all these events and doing it for work and stuff. And he's like, I want to play golf. So I wasn't an asshole. I was like, okay, let's get you some clubs so you can play. So we play golf a lot together. And I think the cool thing with us playing golf together is I have seen him grow and he's better than me. Okay. Better than me, but he plays a little more often than I do. And he loves going to the range. But the other thing too is that it's an opportunity for us to spend quality time together. No phones, right? No TV, no distractions. We're together. We're forced together for the 2 or 4 hours that we play. To me, that's a beautiful thing for any relationship, because then you have to talk and you have to compliment each other or give each other advice or whatever. It is a cool thing. I do love playing with him and when we go out.
100% agree. I mean, I think a big stressor if in a relationship, if one person is a golfer and the other one isn't, is, I mean, golf can be a minimum 2 to 4 hours away from there, and especially if it's a nice, beautiful, sunny Saturday, you're golfing in the middle of the day, and the non-golfer is like twiddling their thumbs and be like trying to figure out when will you be back so we can go get lunch or whatever. And so I think that, yeah, instead of being like, well, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends and have a great time golfing for 4 hours, I'll see you when I get back, it turns into a, hey, let's go hang out and hit a white ball around for 4 hours and work together. And yeah, you see the best and the worst of your significant other for sure. But I think it in the end of the day, it's time well spent versus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So food for thought, Dom.
Yeah,
I don't
Dom.
have a significant other, so I'm just probably not like mentally there yet. That's like the
Cannot
running.
wait.
That's like
Cannot
the
wait
running
till
joke
Dom's
on this
wedding.
is like,
The future wedding, Kat's gonna be the best man, best woman for Dom, and be like, I set them up. This is all because of me, the Cupid matchmaker.
that's like the running joke on this is like I'm younger than everybody, and then like in the group chat, everyone's like, Dom, you're gonna get married. I'm like, I don't know about that. I think seeing Derek's wife once a week is like enough for me. Um,
Oh,
she's
catching
she's good. I love
strays.
her.
Jeez.
He catches strays a lot. I love her though. She's just really loud, and that's like enough for me. I'm pretty quiet, pretty mellow. Um, she's just loud. And Derek would
Yeah.
say she's loud.
And that's okay. Not all women are loud. So,
This one in particular is.
okay.
So my
You'll
mom
find
is too.
yourself a nice quiet gal out there.
That's
in the
That's all I
right.
want.
You're
Someone
gonna be a
quiet.
4 handicap by the time we know it.
Yeah.
No,
Not with that attitude, Dom.
I don't want to be a 4 handicap.
You got to give him some coaching, Brian.
Brian's not a 4 handicap.
No, I'm not a 4 handicapper and I can't coach. I'll send you some YouTube links, or I'll just direct you to the Golfing Buddy website where there's some great videos on.
The YouTube link will just be Derek's Instagram page. Thanks,
His loud
Brian. I already
wife.
follow it.
Go. There you go.
So what we
Awesome.
do here on the pod before we wrap it up, we always talk about a couple things. I love food. Derek loves food. Derek's always here in spirit. So we're gonna talk about a little bit about food. And then probably just like a couple like random, not really golfy questions, but just ones that have been kind of popular to ask lately. Well, that was loud. The first thing, we're in your area. We're in Milwaukee. I know
Mhm.
you and Brian have been talking about it. I've never been there. Where do we have to go to eat?
So I'm going to say this because I have a lot of I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from Texas. So I have a lot of family that come up a lot. And so the one thing that people fall in love with that they have, okay, and you can have it at many different places, is cheese curds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys are familiar.
Very much so, yes.
Okay. So
I
cheese, it's
I
a
had my first cheese
Wisconsin
curd in
favorite.
Milwaukee for sure.
Okay. Okay. It's a Wisconsin favorite. Once people have them, they're always like, oh my God, how can I get these? Like my brother in Texas, he'll go to a restaurant, he'll say, oh, we got cheese curds. I'm like, they're not the same.
Mm-mm.
I know they're not. You know,
You're a cheese curd aficionado kind of
that's right. That's right.
sommelier.
Yeah. So first and foremost, cheese curds have to have.
I love
Just
cheese curds.
yes.
I love a
Okay.
good one. Because yeah,
Yeah.
there are bad cheese curds.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
Mhm.
Okay, so I got maybe a couple more so for you. Bloody Marys is the signature thing in Wisconsin.
My
Bloody
God,
Marys with
I'm the
I don't
biggest
know,
Bloody Mary
burger,
fan as we speak.
Yeah, you lost
bacon,
me.
cheese, like Bloody Marys that are totally built out. Silverman's is one of them that has like badass Bloody Marys.
Oh, that's great to know. I wasn't as hooked on Bloody Marys then as I am now.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I, anytime we're out and they offer Bloody Marys, even if it's 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
we're crushing Bloody Marys because it's like
Yeah.
it feels healthy. It's like a tomato, you know.
It is.
I don't like
It is.
tomatoes though. Like that's weird. Like I'm like, I don't like tomatoes.
It's an acquired taste. You'll get there. I promise you.
Okay.
Tom,
I'll
we got you to like
try.
high noons, so we can. I think we can do Bloody Marys. A little
Yeah.
Yeah,
different.
you guys can do bloodies. I'll do nooners. There we go.
As you get older, you will start losing those taste buds, and then you're going to be like, "Oh, that damn Bloody Mary is good."
hmm
Mark my words. Watch.
Oh, not excited.
Tom, I'm
Uh,
only a couple of years older than you, and
I know. I was
I've
gonna
gotten
say that.
hooked.
Like
So
Brian's not much older than me.
yeah,
Yeah.
give you a couple of years, you'll be doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, so the final thing I'll advise you if anybody ever comes to Milwaukee or Wisconsin or whatever, supper clubs. They are the bomb in Wisconsin. I'm telling you, you can get a big ass steak, a couple old fashions, right? You and your partner can get a couple steaks, a couple old fashions, and spend less than, let's say, $60. You can't beat it. You cannot beat
Wow.
supper clubs. And supper clubs do it right. Like you're gonna get the salad and the soup and your entree, and then your dessert. And I am telling you, I have been to a lot of places and I am in love with Wisconsin supper clubs. Absolutely. It's a little old fashioned and people think like that's a lot of the grandma and grandpas there, but in the country, because we live kind of on the outskirts of Milwaukee, they are very famous and they're well populated supper clubs.
Supper
I mean,
clubs.
you had me at steak and old fashions. Count me. I mean, you had me at Bloody Mary, but you just.
Mhm.
I need to go back to Milwaukee. It sounds.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Geez,
good.
everything. I feel like I'm living on the Milwaukee diet, and I'm over here in Boston.
Um,
Yeah, I should probably visit Milwaukee. Never been there.
Tom, let's do it. We'll make a trip. Go see Kat.
yeah.
Well, I
Have
know.
some
I
Bloody
know.
Marys.
I know
Oh, yeah.
another couple guys out there in Milwaukee. So,
Hmm.
the Vibes golf guys are from Wisconsin. So like Melvin Gordon, No Way. They had a tournament out there. It's actually like right after we landed from our tournament back home.
Yep.
They had they had a little tournament. Um, and then the back nine only guys out there in the Milwaukee area. We've had them on before. They're like hoot and a half. They're crazy, but good guys. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll have to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the last question we've been asking, Brian, feel free to answer because I don't know how far you listen into these normally.
All the way through. I'm a
No, don't lie.
frequent listener.
So normally, everyone's like, "Oh, what's your walk-up song?" Stuff like that. Which walk-up songs are cool, but like, what song do you want to be like buried to?
Married to or buried?
Buried, like you're dead, you're in your coffin, they're
Mm.
lowering in. What song do you want blaring?
That is an odd question.
So I listen to like podcasts in the shower. I don't listen to mine though because I hate my voice.
Yeah.
And there's one, it's from guys in like Fargo, and
Yeah.
one of their viewers wrote this in, and I was like, that's genius. And everybody I've asked has had like a blast trying to answer it because like my answer is just like banger, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's funny." So, like for instance, like when I'm dead, I want to be buried to like a pimp by David Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they're like, "Wow, Grandpa, listen to this," and then it's just like David Banner. You're like, "Yep," kind of lighten the mood a little bit. I think Derek had like Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's just a little bit more mellow, but it's been fun to ask people this one just for all the different answers.
Yeah, I guess I would have to say I would probably say that they should play something fun and uplifting, maybe something like "We Are Family,
There we
all my
go.
brothers and sisters and me."
That
That's a good one.
that's a good one. And
I
and
think
and, and if it's a funeral, it's pretty topical.
that that's right,
Yeah.
exactly. And they'd have to like swing and dance a little because they can't be there moaning and groaning and saying, "Oh, cat's gone."
Yeah, now it's a party that cat's gone.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And because I'm going to be cremated, right? If
I don't know.
Jeff, my partner, has it near the water, and he has everybody on a boat or something, I would want him to play, "I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat." Do you guys know the song?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's what
See
I
why
would.
see why I love this question?
Oh, nice. I love it.
Oh, it's a good one. All right, Brian.
It's so that's this yeah, this is a very interesting question because immediately my brain isn't operating in like a pod, like a fun upbeat thing. I'm just thinking of some of the songs that just make me weep, and I just want people
I
weeping at
mean,
them,
you
right?
could do that.
Oh,
You could have people cry at your funeral. It's kind
Yeah.
of a dick
I
thing to
mean, it's
do,
definitely
but
gonna
like
be
you could do it.
I was gonna say it's gonna
you
be an
won't
Irish
be there.
it's gonna be an Irish wake, so it'll be upbeat and fun and all that. But just my mind immediately just at my funeral, like any funeral that I go to, like the like Ave Maria just makes me weep. Like I feel like that's the song in church that makes me cry. But I love a good maybe a Josh Groban "You Raise Me Up" is a good one too. But these are all so cliche. I think if I want to spin my normal answer to the walk up question, which is my walk up song is always "Who Let the Dogs Out" by the Baja Men.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
So I'd probably bookend it and maybe get buried to "Who Let the Dogs Out"
There you go.
by the Baja Men.
That's
You could flip
awesome.
it to you could do Maria Maria with Santana.
Yeah.
A little a little flair to that Irish wake or whatever.
Yeah, no, I gotta start write a will, and then I'm gonna put that in the will for sure. Just so it's document. Oh, I guess this is a video will for
There you
anybody
go.
that's listening when I get buried. That's what I want.
We better start
Yeah.
listing off who gets what in your background then.
Yep, exact. Yeah. If
Yeah.
anyone my Frank the Tiger head cover here, all that. We'll start auctioning it off.
I have
Or
that
or
same
unless you don't care, you just say it's a free for all. Don't kill each other.
True. That's yeah. Much less work that I have to do
That's
for sure.
right. That's right.
conveniently I have the same flag, so I don't need it.
The Odin flag. All right,
The
so
old
Cat
flag,
gets the
yeah.
Odin flag. um, yeah, no, it's that's an interesting question. I'm gonna have to let me get back to y'all on that. I mean, I gave you an answer, but I gotta think of a good one.
Yeah. No, I like a pimp's a good one because then you're just like, what the hell is he playing? And then you're just like, oh. And then before you know it, nobody remembers that I died. And that's
Or
exactly how I want it to be.
similar to that, I'm just thinking you kind of made me think about the song like "I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man."
Yeah.
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 A good one. It's
Yeah.
like
Nice.
totally not me because I'm not like that
You better
confident.
get your girlfriend to sign off on that.
Yeah, I'll put it. That'll
Future
be the only
wife.
thing to put down. Yeah,
Future wife.
here we go. Future golf buddy, also
Mhm.
golfing buddy,
Wait, I think
Yeah.
current golf buddy.
current.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Yep.
Kat, thanks for joining us. It was a blast. I learned so much, and now I have the app, so maybe I'll go out and meet some like stranger and you know learn a thing or two and become a four handicap. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Manifest it. I'm
Man-
all about manifesting.
Even though it just snowed, we'll manifest it
That's right.
for next year. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. There you go. There you go.
And Brian,
Awesome. Well,
thanks for filling in.
Yeah, no, it was awesome to be here. It was super fun to catch up with you, Dom, and Kat. Even better to meet you. And I look forward to seeing what Golfing Buddy has in store for the future, and hopefully we can link up and have some Bloody Marys together in Milwaukee. That'd be great.
absolutely. Absolutely. If you guys are ever in this neck of the woods, let me know for sure.
I'll have to try Brian's Bloody Mary, but I'll choke one down, I guess.
I'm gonna manifest that. It's just you
There you
liking
go.
Oh,
one small step from man.
That's right. Love it.
oh, I'm not ready for that.
Awesome.
Oh, whew. All right, but thank you for joining us. Super fun. Yeah, thanks for emailing me because that's how this all started.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very appreciative of being on your show and I look forward to it for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.